Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch. In this video I'm going to go through my attempt at this part one of the lab project. Okay, so let's start off by opening up this project overview. Basically this website is going to be about me, so I'll go ahead and do this project with you guys. I'm going to build a professional home page, and if I look at the requirements for today, really all we're doing is creating the project structure, so the files and folders. Use the project overview button above to see the 5 pages that will need to be included. Outside of all folders, we'll have an index file. Now the project architecture setup, let's create an index.html file. Add an image of you or your family. Add a description of yourself. Include links within your home page, not in the nav bar, to other pages in your website. Okay. Create a nav bar, and that is it for today. Okay. So professional home page. I'm also looking at what else should be created. So there's a favorite stuff page, which could be places or foods, a fun stuff page, a good stuff page, a personal page, something else that you choose. And then it says what each page should include and what the project should include. Okay. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and open this up. So I've already written the code for this. Let me go ahead and I'll just open this up with live server, and then I'll kind of just walk through it with you guys to show you what all I've done, and hopefully seeing how I've done things may be helpful for you, both in maybe giving you ideas of stuff that you could do, but also showing you some things that are a little bit difficult to do your first time around. So nav bars can be really tricky. Making this look how you want it to look, I don't like this hover very much. I want to change that. I added a little gradient to the bottom of my nav bar. Now that hover looks a little funny. Anyways, so here's my nav bar. I can click on these and it does go to the other pages. You can see that went to the favorite folder. This goes to the fun stuff folder and so forth, right? I have this image, I have a little header and a small description about me. And then I have these links that will also go to different places in my website. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's not very responsive yet. If I hit inspect on this, you'll see while things do fit in there, the image is kind of getting chopped away there. The nav bar is not going to wrap at all, and really we're going to want a lot of this to start stacking as we get smaller. I also want this to take up more width of the screen as we get smaller as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and worry about doing that another time. But let me go ahead and show you guys what I have here so far as code goes. So I went ahead, I spent a good chunk of time setting up my nav bar class and my content class. My content class has 2 divs in it, a content A and content B, so it'll be split. And then when I do decide to wrap those for a mobile view, it should be relatively easy to say, hey, content B, I want to have actually sit beneath content A instead of to the right of it. Okay. And all these styles I put into my site/style.css because I'm going to use these exact same styles on every single page in my website. So if I look at this, there's actually quite a few styles in here. I'm in the process of setting up my color scheme. I've really only touched these first 3. These other ones I copied from somewhere else, so I'm going to take those out. We don't need them. Let's see here. I set up the font. I imported the font from the Google API. Have a default font if that one's not found, font size, and the color of the font is going to be this kind of bluish gray. Okay, I say how big I want my paragraphs and H1 tags to be, HTML and body, and then I have my content. Okay, and so this is where that gradient is coming in. That's that blue color that matches my paddleboard, and this background color that matches this end of my paddleboard. If I open this up in a new image, that's that gray color that I got for that. And I thought that would look nice having those kind of match there. Okay, but that's a gradient. I just did this gradient with the CSS gradient generator that I showed you guys. But then I changed a couple of things in here just to kind of customize this just a little bit. Okay, added a small border radius, which you can see this corner is not very sharp. Okay, that's a 3-pixel border radius. Okay, we keep coming down. Content A and B both will take up 50% of the screen. Have padding, which will shove the content of it inside a little bit. And display 1 basically just says it goes alongside with this display flex It'll just allow these things to sit side by side. Content B will float right, and display will be inline block. Then I have my nav bar, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and take out this background. I'm just gonna go like that. I don't want that gradient there. It made my hover look funny. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I'll just leave it like that, okay? But here's my nav bar. And then notice how I'm doing this. I don't have a bunch of classes in the HTML of my nav bar. I just have a nav bar class and an active class, which I'll be able to move when I'm on the favorites page. I'll put the active class on there. Memories page, the active class will go on there. Otherwise, there's no classes here except for nav bar. Everything else is handled right here. So I say, hey, the first child, I want the padding left to be 20%. All the LIs I want to have float left. All of the A tags in there will be display block, color white, centered, padding, no hover, or they won't have an underline even though they're links. The active one I want to have be that blue color, this primary color. I'm using these CSS variables here. And then when you hover, I want the background color to change to that black. I probably could have put a gradient there as well if I wanted to keep a gradient, but I think I'm happy taking the gradient away. So, but yeah, so all this will work across all my pages. Like I said, if I go and look at a given page, there's not anything there because I just set up the project architecture and the home page in this. But if you look here, I do have a pretty good setup so far, which will make it really easy. This will probably be the most difficult lab day for me at least, because now I have a good nav bar in place, which was a good chunk of the work. And I have a good content section in place as well with good styles that'll be really easy to add content to on these other pages, regardless of what the content is. And so looking at this again, we have the index.html, which is the home page outside of all other folders. Okay, I have my site folder, which will have any images that I'll use across the board, across multiple pages, and then my styles that I'll use across multiple pages as well. And then each other folder will have an index file and a CSS file that will work together. My home has its own styles for what I want it to do on the home page, and then I have a few images for my home page, so it's nice and clean here. And then notice one thing, if I look at my index.html, look how I'm using these two CSS files. I can use as many CSS files as I want to. This is saying, hey, use my site-wide files or CSS styles, and then use my homepage styles. Okay, and I'll do that exact same thing, having these two lines of code in all of my HTML files, so that my site styles can be used in every page, and then I can also have page-specific styles for each individual page. Okay. If these image folders don't end up filling out, I'll go ahead and delete these folders. I didn't even put them in all of them yet. But yeah, that's the structure of my website. Oh, so this one right here, this is my favorite places website or page. And I haven't really done anything here. There's just the template HTML, but I did add these two lines of CSS code. Again, one for the site-wide style, and then one for the style.css file that's right here, right next to it. Okay. And so if we look back, now that this is set up, I'll be able to use these links to go ahead and fill out all this stuff. And then in my last lab, I'll probably go ahead and make everything look really responsive and make it look nice. So, okay, so that's my walkthrough for this first lab out of our 3. I hope that this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.